Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Before we get started, just a quick note to anybody who watched Mingles with Jingles on Monday, where I went off on one about how long it was taking my supplier to get off their arses and actually open the box and take a look at the PC that I sent back to them for repairs 2 months ago. Funny old thing, you go off on one about it on YouTube on the Monday, they open the box, fix it on the Tuesday, and it arrived back home on the Wednesday. Now, I'm not for 1 second suggesting that cussing them out on the Monday had anything to do with me getting the PC back repaired on the Wednesday. I'm sure that was just a coincidence. But it does mean that I have access to all of the saved video that I was unable to transfer to an external drive because the PC was broken and I couldn't get it to switch on. Including this. This is a battle I've been itching to show you all for, well, the last 2 months, and today I can. This is Salty Old Viking in everybody's favourite Tier 4 German tank destroyer, the Hetzer. Doubtless some of you, possibly even many of you, but certainly not all of you, are aware that this tank, or tank destroyer, was never actually referred to as the Hetzer. At least not officially. There is some evidence that it was given the unofficial nickname Hetzer by its crews, among whom it was a very popular machine, and for very good reason. But the official designation of this machine was the Panzerjäger 38T. 38T because it was based on the hull of the obsolete Panzer 38T, Czechoslovakian design, that was used in quite large numbers by the Wehrmacht in the opening years of the Second World War. In fact, the famous German Tiger ace, Otto Carius, began his service as the driver in a Panzer 38T during the Moscow campaign. It was during the Moscow campaign that the obsolescence of the Panzer 38T was recognised, not just because it didn't have a particularly big gun, but also the quality of the steel was prone to issues in the extreme cold, and, well, they were using them during the assault on Moscow in the winter of 1941, so, yeah, it got a bit chilly. And when it got a bit chilly, and the armour of the tank got hit by something hard, like, oh, I don't know, an anti-tank shell, it tended to shatter. The armour, not the anti-tank shell. So, for a whole bunch of reasons, not least of which it was too small and had too small a turret ring to be able to upgun, and also the fact that the armour tended to break when it got a bit cold, led to the Wehrmacht deciding to replace their Panzer 38Ts, but they still had the question of what to do with the hundreds of Panzer 38Ts that they had. Never being ones to waste anything that might even be remotely useful, the Germans had made some progress, stripping the turrets off existing tanks, or simply never fitting them with turrets in the first place in order to save production costs, and simply mounting guns directly in the hull. Because there was no turret ring to worry about, this meant that the tank could be fitted with a bigger gun than normally would have been the case, and this is exactly what happened to the Hetzer. Now, I'm sure many of you out there were already perfectly aware of this. Thank you for putting up with me while I explained it to those of you who weren't. But what does the nickname Hetzer actually mean, and where does it come from? Well, the only written account referring to it is in a briefing paper from General Heinz Guderian, the Inspector General of the Panzer Corps, to Hitler, explaining that the term had been affectionately coined for the vehicle by its troops. It's obviously a German word, and the rough translation is beta. But what does that mean? Now, for those of you for whom English is not your first language, I wouldn't really expect you to know what it means, although for those of you for whom English is your first language, I probably also wouldn't expect you to know what it means, so allow me to explain. Although before I go into it, I'd just like you to witness the friendly M43 up front, attempting, and completely failing, with disastrous results, to execute a successful cliff dive. But anyway, Hetzer, or beta, what exactly does that mean? Well, it's a hunting term, and the best example I can think of where the term was actually used was in the, frankly, barbaric and fortunately now pretty much extinct sport of badger baiting. Badgers live underground in lairs that are known as sets, and so dogs would be sent into the badger's set in order to bait the badger by barking and yapping and snarling at it. Badgers don't take no shit from dogs, The badgers would chase the dogs out, and once they were out of the set, they could be caught and killed. Hence, beta. And that's where the nickname of the Hetzer comes from. And appropriately enough, it's more or less exactly what Salty Old Viking is doing here, in his Hetzer against that Panzer III. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. And then, boom, headshot. That was Salty's 6th kill. There's his Top Gun. He's done 1500 damage, which is pretty impressive already in a Tier 4 vehicle. Unfortunately, his base is being capped. You'd think that the 3 surviving teammates that he has would be able to deal with it, but they do seem to be struggling. Oh, kill number 7 coming. Oh no, too fast. BT7. He's using the howitzer, so there's a lot of lead time that needs to be taken. Kill number 7. Did get spotted. M8 over there. Doesn't appear to be paying too much attention. Fired blind. Pretty sure he didn't hit. It was an M8. If an M8 gets hit with a 105mm howitzer, you know about it, because the M8 dies. Base is still being capped. His team are resetting, but they're not doing an awful lot of killing, which is unfortunate, because the Panzer 38 who's doing the capping has been joined by a B1 heavy tank, and he seems to have been getting sick and tired of getting shot at, so he's taken matters into his own hands and killed the artillery. He did get taken out by the Marder in the process, but the B1 has a friend over there that neither the Marder nor the Panzer 3J know about, although the Marder is about to find out the hard way. Enemy T-28 is sneaked around behind him, which is really bad news for the Marder, who's now having to fight the T-28 alone. The Panzer 3J is having to fight the B1 alone, although not for long, because the B1 has some help arriving as well. The Marder is dead, which means the Panzer 3J really needs some help. He's now got at least 3 enemy tanks closing in on him, and he does not have a lot of health left, and he's losing it by the second. I think we can probably kiss goodbye to the Panzer 3J. Yep, he's gone. That leaves Salty Old Viking alone against 4 enemies. So no Kolobanov's medal. That requires 5 surviving enemies. There are now only 3 surviving enemies. Turret shot on the B1. That's where the weakest armour is. Salty going for the M8. It's interesting because they're both tier 4. Oh, he missed. Point blank range. Yeah. Interesting, because these are both tier 4 tank destroyers, but in my book the Hetzer outclasses the M8 in every respect other than speed and mobility. Speed and mobility that the M8 is definitely putting to good use here. He was extremely lucky to survive. But, well, yeah, you don't survive 2 hits from a Hetzer when you're in an M8A1. Hang on a minute, Jingles. Earlier, didn't you say that an M8 wouldn't survive 1 hit from it? No, I didn't say any such thing. You can't prove anything, okay? Now, where did that T-28 go? Because he was up here after killing the Marder, but it's been a while since we saw him. Doesn't appear to have fired at Salty, or if he did, he missed, and he didn't give his position away. I don't think he's still up here. Well, that begs the question, if he's not up here, where the hell is he? It's possible that he thought that his teammates had the situation well in hand with the Panzer 3J, and he's gone looking for Salty's last reported position. Oh, Salty spotted there is somebody up here. Is the T-28 down here? Why would he be down here? Where did Salty get spotted from? That really is a mystery. The T-28 was up at this end of the map where it killed the Marder, and it hasn't been seen or heard from since. Where would it have gone? This doesn't make any sense. It's not capping. Obviously we'd know about that. But somebody spotted Salty when he was up on that ridge to the left. It couldn't possibly have been the Su-5. Well, it might have been, but that doesn't make an awful lot of sense either. There's nobody in the cap circle. He's not spotted by anyone. And nobody's shooting at him. Oh, well, obviously nobody's shooting at him if he's not spotted by anyone, but nobody shot at him when he did get spotted. And he's spotted again as soon as he rounds the corner, which means there's somebody down there. Somebody who isn't shooting at him. He's not even taking shots from artillery. The only plausible explanation I can think of is that it is the Su-5 who's spotting him, maybe from the middle of the map, and holding his fire and just waiting for the T-28 to finish him off. The thing is, unlike in World of Warships, you don't know if you're still spotted, you just know that you have been spotted. There's no "you are still spotted" marker. There you go, he's spotted again, and he's hit. And it's the T-20, wow. All the way up there. Have these two guys basically just been chasing each other around that big central rock in the middle of the cap circle? Is that what's been happening for the last 3 minutes? I think it might be. But he's not getting shot at by artillery. What does the Su-5 have to do that's more important than winning this game? He can't possibly be out of ammunition. I mean, it used to be possible for the Su-5 to run out of ammunition. In fact, it used to be extremely likely that an Su-5 surviving to the end of the game would probably run out of ammunition. I can remember getting my one and only Faden's medal years ago in the Su-5. You get the Faden's medal for killing the last tank on the enemy team with the last round of ammunition available in your machine. Su-5s were actually very good at getting Faden's medals, but these days the Su-5 comes loaded with 85 rounds of ammunition. He can't possibly have run out. So what is his excuse? Answers on a postcard to the usual address, because I'm out of explanations. Well, he may have gone AFK, I suppose. I mean, that is always an option. No sign of the T-28 again. That guy is definitely keeping us guessing. Oh, there he is. Oh, this is Salty's chance. Now, hopefully the T-28 is going to be dumb enough, now that he definitely knows he's been spotted and is getting shot at, to stop and aim. But he's not quite dumb enough. He takes one hit. Some critical damage there, but clearly not his tracks. And he's out of there before Salty can fire off a third shot. I think he's now a one-shot kill. But Salty is not. The Hetzer doesn't have particularly thick armour, but it is extremely well sloped. So the effective armour at the front on the upper glacis is equivalent to about 120 to 130 millimeters, and even with the 57mm gun on the T-28, which looked like the gun that he had, it's probably the most effective gun on the T-28 from the selection of 57 and 76mm guns that it has. But even that needs APCR ammunition, which is what the T-28 has been firing in order to be effective against the sloped upper glacis of the Hetzer's hull. And that 57mm ZIS-4, if that's the gun he has, and I think it is a very good gun. It's probably the most effective gun available on the T-28. It's also one of the guns available on the T-34. And while it is very accurate, it has a great rate of fire, good DPM, and the highest penetration available on either of those two tanks, it has lousy alpha damage, with 85 average damage per hit, which means that he's going to have to hit, penetrate, and do damage to Salty at least 3 times in order to kill him. Oh, and there's one.
We've lost some ammo, but at least it didn't explode.
And that's all he's going to get. Oh, and there's the Su-5. He's not AFK. And he's not out of ammo. But he is dead. So no Kolobanov's medal. There weren't enough surviving enemies for that. But 11 kills and 3,000 damage in a tier 4 tank destroyer. Yeah, that'll do. So, salty old Viking in the Jagdpanzer 38T Hetzer. The Hetzer's still got it. The Hetzer never lost it. There's a reason why this machine's popular. Not just because it looks cool. It is cool. Hell, Lemmy from Motorhead gave this machine his official seal of approval, and it just doesn't get any more cool than that. So, congratulations, salty old Viking, on a fairly epic result in everybody and Lemmy's favourite German tank destroyer. The Hetzer is, in fact, gonna Hetz. Take care, folks, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.